introduction about her. She has actually did her BE, graduated her BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Anna University, Chennai in the year 2008, and ME from same university in the year 2010. During her BE, she stood at 42nd rank in the university, and in ME, she is a gold medalist. She is first class with distinction. She is a PhD in the area of wireless sensor networks. Also, she is a very good expert in startup, IPR, and other entrepreneurial related topics. She has did her MBA to her to feather her to add to feather to her cap. MBA from Priya University in the year 2017, and with distinction, that is 80 percentage of marks. So she has also published a large number of papers in conferences as well as journals, and she is a very good person in the entrepreneurial topics also. So we are very happy to have her as a resource person of the day. So madam, it is your time and you can take your session.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the introduction you have given. Sir, shall I start? Is it audible, sir? Okay. So before, sir, is this a PPT visible, sir? Yes, sir. Thank you. So, first of all, on myself, Dr. R. Priya, Associate Professor in the Department of ECE and representing IIC Convener and Innovation Ambassador of Power Engineering College. I would like to thank the Mother Teresa College, the management, the principal, and the convener, of course, Ayyappan sir, for giving me this opportunity to handle a session on how to start up legal and ethical steps. So, before I go on with the session, let me give some beautiful thoughts because it's almost the end of the day, the evening. So, to keep you all little active, let me go with the famous quotes of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Learning gives creativity. So, all of us, we are attending lot many sessions every day, be it the theory classes or the lecture classes or online webinars or different faculty development programs which we attend. Students, they attend lot of innovation contest programs. So everywhere if you see, there is a part of learning. So from that learning, what does it gives us all? It gives us some sort of creativity. And what does that creativity in turn leads to? It leads to thinking, and that thinking provides us knowledge. So if you are able to speak in an open forum, or if you're being given with an opportunity to speak somewhere, you should of course have good knowledge. So knowledge is one thing which makes us all great. Whether you have money or you don't have money, if you're wise enough and if you're able to speak on a topic for more than half an hour, then you can gather around millions of people to sit and listen to you. So for all that, what you need is knowledge. That knowledge will come only through learning. So in this 1 hour session, even if you take one or two points of whatever I'm telling about startup, that again will give you some knowledge to speak in some other arena. So that is what I want all of you to take from this session. And of course, the next thought is a smooth sea never makes a skilled sailor. So this is a quote which I wanted to relate with startup. Can anybody give me what are you feeling as soon as you get read this quote? A smooth sea never makes a skilled sailor. You can feel free to answer. Anybody in the meeting? So of course in life, if you see, all of us will face lot of hurdles. It is not a smooth straight line. Of course we'll have lot of ups and downs, be it in our school life or in our college life, being a student, being a youngster, being a woman or a man, or anywhere in life. If you see, there are a lot of hurdles. So all that hurdles you people can overcome only if you face it, because that is how you can have a successful life. So again, when I go for a startup, if you want to build your own startup, or if you want to become an entrepreneur in life, then of course you need to face lot of challenges, and you need to convert all the challenges as opportunities. That is how you can face a successful life. So these are the two beautiful thoughts which I wanted to give you before I wanted to start the session. So this is a small activity before I go on for the session. So as I told you already in the previous slide, it is all about creativity, it is all about thinking, it is all about knowledge. So only if you have got a good idea about all this, you people can become good entrepreneurs, you can be the owner of a leading startup. So for that, all these five important steps are essential to be creative. So I'll just give you clues for the different words. You can first find out the jumbled words and give me the answers. So the first word, it actually starts with P and ends with N. So any work which we do in life, or any task which we do in life, this is the first thing which all of us will do. Any guesses from the people who are there in the meeting?
Ma'am,
Yes,
preparation,
very good. Your name, Pa?
Shendaga Priya.
Shenbag Priya. Okay, very good. Okay, so preparation is the first step which all of us will do. If you take any task, suppose you've got an exam tomorrow, what all of us will do? We'll start preparing. Suppose I am being given with a topic to handle this webinar today. So I'll be start working on the things what all is necessary in order to give you certain thoughts which you people can take home. So that is the first step. Very good answer from Shenbag Priya. The next thing, the next step is, it starts with I and it ends with N, and the middle letter is B. Any guesses? I mean, it is actually wherein you will collect and gather ideas and other materials required for the preparation. Starts with IN. I'll tell you the first two letters, IN. Middle letter is B, and again it ends with N. Any guesses? Yes, sir. Very good. I'm not actually able to see it, sir. Just a second. Okay. Okay, very good answer. It is actually incubation. So the first step is preparation, wherein you do a lot of research. You start collecting and gathering the ideas, and the second step is incubation. What actually incubation means here is wherein you start exploring what are all the ideas which is required. Start experimenting, working on it, and then synthesizing is where comes the incubation. And after preparation and incubation, immediately a spark will come into everybody's mind. Why don't we do like this? It will be better if I take it and if I do it this way. That is the third word, which starts with I, it ends with N. It is a spark, it is a bulb which glows to everybody. Any answers?
Madam,
Yes, sir. Very good answer. So it is actually illumination. So illumination is where you get an idea of what you're going to do. You get a spark. That spark will be got only from illumination. So preparation, incubation, followed with that you have got illumination. And of course, anything which you do, for everything whatever we do, this step is very essential. It starts with E, ends with N. Everybody can tell it easily.
Evaluation
Yes, very good. What's your name?
by Venkatachalam.
Venkachalam sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. And it's evaluation. And one more person who's Kannan in the meeting has also answered as evaluation. And the last step, what we'll do after preparing, incubating, illuminating, evaluating, and the final thing, if you want to do a task, if you want to achieve the task, what has to be done? It has to be starts with I, ends with N. And somebody has given
Implementation.
implementation. Yes, very good. I've got an answer in the chat box as well as from faculty. It is implementation. So that is what quickly, see, you can see it here. So these are the 5 stages of the creative process. So wherein we are going to prepare and then incubate. So this is very essential if you are going to have your own startup. So here the title today is how are we going to have our own startup, and what are all the legal and the ethical steps to be followed to have our own startup. So before having a startup, you should be creative, then only you can have your own startup. So for that creativity, all these steps are very essential. Preparation, incubation, illumination. Immediately you won't get a spark. You go on exploring certain things, you get a spark of how you can do it. Okay, illumination. Finally you evaluate. Evaluation is where you can know what are all your pros and cons. You can assess what are all the positives in it, negatives in it. So you can reflect on what you're doing. Of course, people will give you a lot of comments. There will be a lot of negative criticism rather than having a positive critics from the people. So that also you need to avoid. You just need to overhear certain things and you need to proceed. So avoid all the negative critics. You start reflecting on what you're doing. You start assessing yourself. Keep with you a peer group who will always support you, rather than there are people who will always demotivate and discourage. Discourage you. And finally, to have this preparation, incubation done, illumination, evaluation, finally, what must be done is you need to start working on it. Unless and otherwise, doing the first 4 steps, and if you don't take efforts, there's no use in it. Okay, so that is what in the diagram you can see. It is either start or otherwise it is stop. So for start, what must be done? You have to work till you achieve your success, no matter whatever hurdles you come across. Of course, you will have lot of rejections, you will have lot of failures. You don't think that a startup will be a successful one as soon as you do it. It will of course face lot of rejections, and it will always face lot of criticism. But avoid all that and start working towards it in order to be successful in life. So this is applicable not only for the startup but also for your general life. All these steps are applicable. Okay, so how does I started with the slide of creativity. So from creativity, how are we going to become entrepreneurs? And entrepreneurs are the people who are going to have their own startups, right? So can anybody give me what is a startup and who is an entrepreneur? Just whatever comes into your mind, you can just quickly unmute and speak, or otherwise also put it in the chat box.
Ambani.
Okay, good. Anything that pops up to your mind as soon as you see the word entrepreneurs or any startup, you can feel free to answer. Unmute and just give me your answers. Any other answers? Ideas. Okay, sir. So there are people who are messaging. Okay. Okay. So I've got answers like ideas, people who are risk takers, very good. And then people who give business ideas, Yes, there are of course good number of answers. So how can I relate all this business ideas, being risk takers, how are these ideas being implemented? So all this will come under the way how we are going to think new things and going to do it as a new things, and how are we going to create value in the marketplace. So this is how the cycle moves. As you see in the flow chart, it is beautifully given as creativity. So today, creativity and innovation are the need of the hour. You learn whatever is there in the textbook, and if you produce it, there's no output at all. But on the same way, rather than doing hard work and being hard workers, nowadays smart working people and smart workers are being recruited everywhere. So for that smart working, what is essential is you need to be creative, you need to be innovative, and only this creativity and innovation together you can be a successful entrepreneur to have a good startup. Of course, I've got one more answer in the chat box. Entrepreneurship is solving problems people. Yes, very good. So so what is creativity? Developing new ideas, discovering new ways of how you look into the problems and opportunities. And then what's innovation? So how are you going to apply that solution? So creativity is wherein you're going to discover it, and whatever opportunities and problems you're looking at in a different ways, are you going to create solutions for that? Are you going to do it? Are you going to implement it so that it is going to benefit the people or the society in some way or the other? So that is actually innovation. Okay. And then finally, what's entrepreneurship? As I already told you, combination of both put together is where you will get the entrepreneurship. That is how successful entrepreneurs are being brought up. Only if they are creative and innovative, both are very much essential in order to become a successful entrepreneur. So how to start with an idea? So everybody, today's generation, if you see nowadays, whatever programs in most of the colleges we organize, or everywhere all over in India, if you see, lot of importance is being given to research, innovation, startup and entrepreneurship. Those days they were focusing only on research, but nowadays the focus of research is being completely tuned and modified, and now they are completely focusing on good startups, good venture capitalists, and good making the youngsters to become entrepreneurs. And lot of funds and lot of schemes are being given by the government of India in order to turn the youngsters to be self-employed. So employment again is a big question mark nowadays, right? So how can we make that employment problem a still more a lesser one? That is how the government is taking initiative so that people will become self-employed. How can you become self-employed? You have your own startup, you are going to become an entrepreneur, you are going to give job to a number of people. So for that you need an idea. Yes, without an idea you cannot do anything. So how to start with an idea? So, as I already told you, illumination, that is the place where you will get an idea. So, that idea, if you see, it will come from observation. Wherever you go, any places you go, what you have to do is that you need to observe what is happening in and around. You need to see if there are problems. So, if there are problems, am I in a position to give a solution to that? That is how you have to look at the things which are happening in your surroundings. You have got number of journals, you can read lot of books, you every day you people are browsing over the internet, you people are there in the social media. So there are a lot of things in the social media where you people are probing around right from the morning till the day night. So when you're browsing over certain things, you can see what are all the problems which are being faced by the society. So can I give a solution for that particular problem? Again, there will be certain group of people who will read books. So when you read books, of course, you'll have a lot of problems. Can I give solution to this problem? Again, excuse me. Yes, sir. Is it audible now? Sir, is it okay now, sir? Can you get me? Sir, is it okay, sir? Is the voice clear now? Okay, sir. So, from journals, writing number of journals, and how you move along with the people. So, socializing outside your normal circles, beyond your circles, come out from your boundaries. There are certain people who will be within their boundary lines, right? So, come out from your boundaries, go outside, talk with people, chit chat among people, move around in the society, find out what are all their problems, and from that problems, you think whether you can get a solution. So that is how you people can start with an idea. Only if ideas are there, you will be able to give a solution. Without any ideas, you people cannot have any solution, right? Just like that, coming, going, you're not going to give, fetch any benefit out of it, right? So that is where we are coming. What is a startup? Already you people have given me good answers. So this is a detailed explanation which I wanted to give here. So how to start a startup? So here if you see how to start a startup is, all the steps are being clearly given here. So first thing, as I told you, you have to live in the future ahead of your time. In your time scale or in your time boundary, you just travel and see 2 years from now or 3 years from now, how am I going to be in life. So all of us will have lot of short term goals and long term goals, right? So the same way, you live in the future. In the olden days, you were traveling with 1G network, then with the expansion of the data rates, you had 2G, 3G, 4G, and right now 5G is being launched in India. And again, if you see 2 to 4 years or a decade after, I mean 10 years from now, you will of course have a 6G network. So they are asking that if you want to have a startup, your own startup, you have to live in the future and see what are the problems. Or in future, 2 years from now, this is how people's expectations will be, and that is how my startup should be. So that is how you have to live in the future and think about what is the startup which you're going to start. As I told you, the next one, what is missing in the world? Live in the future. Okay, check what is missing in the world, and then, so for that, the next step is that you have to write it down. Write it down, whatever you feel is needed. That will be the third step. So the third step which I'm pointing, I don't know whether it's clear. Sir, is it clear, sir? The picture? Now is it clear, sir? I've zoomed it. Okay, so you have to write down what is being required, and after that, make a prototype of it. You don't think that aeroplanes, all of us are flying in aeroplanes today, moving in trains and moving in cars. Different means of transportation was there. Initially we had cycle, and we were walking, and then we went on two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and now people are flying in air. So for everything you need to develop a prototype. Think that you are going to make a chocolate, so you have to decide what are all the ingredients required for that. So just make an attempt, or just make a try, just make a prototype, and give the prototype to the nearby people around you. Suppose you are a student from food industry, I mean from food technology, or you belong to a pharmaceutical. So you have got the plan of doing a chocolate, or you have got the plan of doing a solution for a milk product, like that. After, once you do it, you give it to the people around you. Here it is actually given, show the prototype to around 100 people. So not even to 100 people, you just circulate it to around 5 to 10 people around you, to the students in your class, to your faculty, and then check whether it is right, whether it is okay or not. You see, in our college, there are second year and third year food and pharma students who are doing lot of research and innovation. They have done their own herbal tea powder, mosquito repellent. They have done an eco-friendly t-shirts. Lot many things are being done by the students, and they do it within the college circle, and then they go it for the next phase. You attend innovation contest, That is how you get funding, right? Even small ideas are there. Turn the ideas into prototypes. That is very essential. And for turning the ideas into prototypes, again, there are a lot many schemes which are being provided by the government of India in order to do it. That again, I'll share it in the next in the forthcoming slides. And again, if you see, as I told you, show the prototype to around 100 people. And what is the next step? Launch. Let everybody know what you're going to do it. That is what I told you. Go to certain project contest or expos or innovation contest and just make it available. Make it known to everybody. Okay. And once it is being known to few of the people in and around will be talking, oh, there was a guy from this college who came and exhibited this project, it was a good one. And of course, word of mouth is essential. And this word of mouth in turn again will make a call to you, why don't you come in and showcase your project again. And that is how you can get funding. Just like that, it won't come to people. It will come only if you make your idea visible and known to everybody. And for that only, for every college, if you see, you will be having your entrepreneurship development cell, you have got your institutions innovation council, lot number of clubs will be there, wherein you can showcase all your talents, bring all your ideas into prototypes, convert them into good projects. And then you can have a good number of funding from different angel investors or from any type of funding companies, and then you can have your own startup. And the next thing, if you're confident about it, you can register your, and then you can also split the equity and give it. And of course, one best advice which I give to you people is that when you're going to have your startup, always find a good partner. Okay, be it a boy or a girl, always find a good partner who will support you till the end. That is very essential. Rather than being a sole individual person, having your own startup, having your own business, it is always better to work in a team, or to have another person to be a co-founder who will be supporting you and who will be always believing in what you're doing and who will support you till the end, whether it is being a profitable one or even if there are loss which is being incurred by your own startup. That is how you have to find your partner. That is very essential. So finding a co-founder, and then once you find your co-founder, again and again start working on the prototype which you initially made and showed it to 100 people. Now show it to 500 people. Again, next you show it to 1,000 people. Again, you can get what are all the corrections which you can do. That is how you have to start iterating on the prototype again and again till it makes a sense. You believe or not, I know most of you would have been familiar with universities, right? So I'm near Periyar University. There different number of, there are a lot of students working and who are learning in different departments. There are a set of students from food department. What they normally do is, evening after college hours, second year food students, they prepare a lot of food items and they come and sell it in all the doorsteps. And even 10 days back, even I got one of the food item which was prepared by the second year students of food technology from Periyar University. They just brought only 30. You know, all of them would be familiar with puttu, right? It is a famous recipe in Kerala. So those people, those students from second year, they have prepared the puttu and they are coming and selling it in all the doorsteps. And it was actually good to taste. They sold each piece for around 10 rupees, and they got the feedback also. They are asking us to taste it only if we are wishing to get it from them. They are not compelling also. So I just got it since they are second year students who are working on it. And after tasting that, they are also getting the feedback. They are telling, just give us what are all the pros and cons, just tell us so that we can improvise it. That is what I told you. You show the prototype to 100 people, and once you get an idea, again you show it to 1,000 people. They are just selling it in these 2 3 streets alone. And they are telling that once they get a good opinion from around 50 to 100 people, they are telling that they will move to in and around cities of Salem and other cities. That is how people are that is how students are working. Nowadays, if you see students studying in different years of second, third, and final year, they're totally focused to start their own business, to become a self entrepreneur, to have their own startup. So that is the step which I told you. Iterate on the prototype until it makes a sense. And the next thing which is very essential is follow up. Any task which you do, follow up. Probably the first week they turned up, again the next week they turned up with a different recipe, and they also asked us to give suggestions on that. So that is how follow up has to be done. Okay, so we'll be seeing that whether they are coming back. See the number of users, if you see in the slide, it has been increased from 100 after iteration, showing it to more number of people. It has been increased to 1000 now. And again, it's very hard only, but it is going on increasing. Consistent improvement can be seen, and that improvement will be done only on 1% or 2% or 3%. Don't just think that immediately you will get 100% result or success when you go with your own startup. See here, launch again. No, if they are not coming again, you I know that most of you would be familiar with Airbnb, right? So they launched after iterating many times, after 3 4 times of failure only. Airbnb have received somewhat a success nowadays. So any task which you do, I mean, when it is concerned as far as a startup, initially think in the future what will be required by the people. Write down the problems, get ideas. Okay, get ideas from lot number of people, start working on it. Okay, and show the prototype to your inner circle first. If it is fine, then go in for the next phase. Check whether you'll be able to get funding for what you have done. And then you should have a co-founder, one who's a trustworthy person, and start iterating on the prototypes as many number of times, and then increase the number of users. Check whether your whatever you're doing is a consistent increase in the growth of what you've been done, or otherwise launch it, repeat it again and again till you face success. So that is how you can have your own startup. So how the title itself tells how to have your own startup. So to have your own startup, these are all the very essential things which you must follow. Any doubts up to this? So, sir, is it fine, sir? Audibility and presentation? Yes, sir. Okay. So these are very essential steps which everybody needs to follow if your aim is to have your own startup. How to start a startup? Yes. So these are all the different types of startups. Can you give me some examples of startups in the meeting? People who are there in the meeting? Any startups? You can give me any examples, whichever comes to your mind. You can even type in the chat box. Okay, somebody has given me water bottle. Any name of the startup? You have got lot number of startups. So all, I think most of you are students here. So you will be with the social media throughout the day, right? So you'll have lot of startups. Being in any field, you can tell me any one or two startup names so that I'll proceed. Zomato, yes, very good. Free water. Anything else? Lot many startups are there. You people can quickly jot down many answers here. Yes, investment startup. Okay, what is all your favorite food? Again, I'm getting answers only through messages. Your favorite food for many of you here? Lifestyle startup. Okay. Okay, suppose if you want to Favorite food is biryani. Yes, of course. Even yes, I get regular, I mean continuous answers as biryani. So as soon as if you want to eat a biryani, what will you do? Immediately will you cook it at your home and eat, or will you go for something else? Nowadays I'm asking. You want to eat biryani immediately as soon as this webinar gets over, what will you do? You can unmute also and give me the answer. What will you people do if you want to eat biryani? Go out and eat. Okay. Just relate it with startup and tell me I will buy in shop and eat, order. That is what I'm. There are nowadays, okay, there are people who go out, enjoy and eat. You buy it in a shop and eat. But there are certain, most of the people nowadays, if you see, you sit at home, you give the order through Zomato or any startup concerns, and then you have it and eat it. Right? Yes or no? Do you agree with this? Yes, okay. I get many yeses now. So that is what, see, there are a lot of, there are different types of startups here. You have got scalable startups, large company startups, small business startups, social, lifestyle, and viable. Here, if you see, there's not much difference. As I already told you, what is a startup? How can you have your own startup? And see, this is how the entire startups are being segregated into. So out of all this segregation, for example, if I take scalable startups, is where the startups will mainly focus on high growth, and they will always expect for a good profit. You see Google, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere they are all thinking only, that is, I mean, normally in the beginning they will be focusing on technology. These are all technology focused startups, of course. But even though they are technology focused, their main target will be rapidly they need to expand to attract customers. Now, whatever doubts you have, immediately you go search in the Google and get the answer, right? Or you, all the while you are looking into the Insta, you go search over your friends for the Facebook. For a taxi, you go book a Uber, right? So these are all technology focused. At the same time, one which looks for an high growth, and at the same time it also attracts customers. So those type of startups, you call it as scalable startups. So you need to segregate what startup should I, whether I should go with a viable startup, or whether I should go with a lifestyle startup, or whether it should be a small business startup. You need to decide. When it comes into large company startups, their main aim or objective will be completely related to innovation, big technologies, and of course, they will look into limited duration of life. I mean, they will expect a very good profit. That is how this large company startups will focus on. Next, you go on to small business. So mostly we people know, we will be thinking about small business startups. So when it comes into small business startups, is wherein there are certain people who wants to just feed their family. They will not have a vision for expanding and all. Okay, let me start a small business. Every day let me earn around 1000, 2000. So in a month I'm going to get around 60,000 or 1 lakh, so that I can feed my family. I'll be safe. I need not be employed under somebody else. I'll have my own employment. So that is small business startup. Initially, you people can have it without a vision of expanding. And later, when you feel that, okay, it's fine, I can again scale up to great heights, then you can go on to scalable. And from scalable, you can push on to large company. That is how you need to decide on what type of startup you people are going to work on. After that, of course, social startup. So as soon as, if you see the word social startup, is wherein you have your startup which is been relating to all the social problems, any environmental issues. It is actually a non profitable one. You don't expect much profit on that startup, but you do it for the welfare of the people. How many of you will go for a social startup? Any one or two? Because normally if you have your own startup, people will always think for a profit. That is how people's mindset will be. Are anybody in the group who will have your own social startup? Yes or no? You can feel free, frank answers required here. Anybody has got an idea of going with a social startup? No, no, no. Yeah, because if you see social startup, of course there should be certain set of people who will have social startups. There, here again, innovations related to environmental issues and completely a non-profitable one. People, if you have got a good amount or a good investment, in certain cases, those people can go with a social startup. And next, lifestyle startup. So here, all your lifestyle related, there will be people who are aiming to maintain their healthy conditions. Founders, all those will be having their lifestyle startups. And finally, viable startups. Whom do you think will come under viable startups? I mean, it is actually routine process will be followed in order to establish these viable startups. And once it is grown to a certain level, what these kind of people in this viable startups will do is they will sold it, they will sell it. Once they turn out to be, so they think that I've got enough amount of profit from this, why don't I sell it to some other and I invest on the other? For example, if you see Walmart, it is being purchased by Flipkart, Ola, all these. Once they think that they have got a sufficient amount of profit from that, they immediately sell it and the other one buy it. Best example is Walmart and Flipkart. So that all comes under a viable startup. So this is how the different types of startups are being categorized. So your aim and intention of how to start up and what category of startup which you people will go into, that is what I've told you as types of startups. And once you have done all this, what is the next thing which all of us must do? You should know what are all the legal steps and ethical steps that are to be followed. All in a being students, when you write an exam, you are not supposed to copy, right? You need to write whatever you know. So that are certain legal and ethical steps which you need to follow as a student, right? The same thing when you are going to have your own startup, and when you have established a different type of startup, the next thing is that what are the legal steps which you need to follow. So so this is just I'm portrayed by Juice, Swiggy, you people told me Zomato, Ola, Paytm, Redbus. So I think that most of you will be familiar with whatever I've been jotted down in the screen. Yes or no? Yeah, many answers I'm getting. Rapido. Yes. So yes. So these are a few startups. You don't think that all these people they add crores and crores of turnover in their hand and then just they started all this. So they all initially started with a very, they add only the intention of how to be innovative, how to help the society in a different way, and that is how most of these startups have been started. So as I told you, let us see what are all the legal steps to be followed. So when I talk about legal steps, these are the few important terms and technologies, I mean terms and terminologies which you people should be aware of when you have your own startup. Okay, so what is a patent? When you get an exclusive right for your invention, okay, and then any goods or services which you do it from one enterprise to another, you will have a sign, okay, so that will give you a trademark. So there are a lot of inventions and lot of startups being done. If you see, in order to have their own trademark, they give a just a sign which will indicate that that is their product. Okay, so here if you see, you've got for Ola, see for Swiggy, they have got a symbol like yes. And then copyright, you draw your drawing or something, and if you don't think that other people wanted to claim it as their drawing, immediately what you have to do, you have to get a copyright of whatever artistic work or any literary work. Even if you write a book or you write a poem, you write a kavida, you think that nobody should steal it, then immediately what must be done, you get a copyright of what you do. We publish lot of papers, right, research papers, and if new innovations are being done, we normally get patent right for that. And then geographical indication, this GI tags, if you see in most of the products which you get, you see that you will have this geographical indicator, and this was not in the previous years, and this was almost in the 2k, I mean 2002 2003 only, you add this geographical indicators being specified. A sign uses on goods that will have the geographical origin. Suppose if I tell any place, for example, if I tell Tirunelveli, what is Tirunelveli famous for? Just give me an answer. Srivalli means it is milk. Yes. Again, I've got an answer. Alva. Very good. So if you see, based on the geographical locations and geographical origins, you will have lot of products and goods, which are essentially giving importance to that place. So that which possesses the characteristics and that which attributes to the place of origin. So after 2003 2004 only, this GI tags, most of the products, if you see, you will have the GI tags. And last is the industrial design. Anything that contributes to the aesthetic part of any articles or products which you do, immediately it will come under the industrial design. So these terms you should be familiar with when you have your own startup, so that you don't face any issues when you have your own innovation. So again, why are these legal steps essential? I'll have my own startup, I'll go with my own product, I know how to deal with my business, that is fine. But these legal steps are very essential because you need to commercialize one point of time. Only if you commercialize your product, you can find some profit out of it, right? So that commercialization, if commercialization of your product has to be done, then of course you need to follow legal steps, and for that legal steps, licensing of course is very essential. And how will you get that license? That license can be in the form of a patent which you get, or you get a trademark for whatever you do, you get a copyright, you get a GI tag for the product which you invent. So this is how you need to get licensing, so that you commercialize your product and you get profit out of it. And of course it comes under technological development. Whatever competitions you face in the world, you get lot of recognition and awards. So I think most of you will be seeing the different YouTube channels. What are all the channels which you see in YouTube which has impressed you a lot, and those YouTube channels in recent days which has gained lot of recognition and awards? Can you cite one or two channels? Yes, you can unmute and tell me, or otherwise put it in the chat box, as you people are regularly doing it. Any channels, if you see, they would, in a short span of time, they have gained lot of recognition and awards. That again is their own startup which is being done by youngsters. Anything you can put it in the chat box. Any channels in a short span of time, the startup which has got a good recognition and number of awards. Any guesses from the participants? Village cooking channel. Yes. Okay, I even do watch it. Anything else? Good answer from Shenbaga Priya, one who is all the while active throughout the session. So you have got Black Sheep. Many number of channels are there. Nellai 360. Okay. So of course, good. So that is how, in order to become recognized, in order to make whatever you develop to be familiarized, not to get awards. Yes, yes, it's Nagai 360. Like that, I'm asking you. So in order to build a brand to water, yes, cook with Komali. So if you see, for brand building and in order to raise funds, because just like that, if you see, people won't give you amount in order to have your own startup. So in order to raise funds, you need to at least propagate what you're going to do, right? And how can that be done? So that is what. So as I already told you here, what are all the legal basics? You decide on the structure, you apply the licenses, get complete knowledge of what must be done. Okay, and then have clarity on what If you don't think that it won't be a successful one, again you should have a clarity on how you have to exit. Maintain all the laws legally, what are all the licenses which you should get for your own startup. That, and of course IP rights, which I told you, intellectual property rights, and the contracts. Because any business you start up, you need to set up a contract, be it a private partnership or a public limited one or a sole proprietorship. You need to be an LLP or anything. That is what you need to decide in your business contract. Need to get IP, go with the laws, have a clarity and complete knowledge, apply the licenses whatever is required. So these are all the legal basics which every startup owner must know. Yes, a quick exercise. Let me see how many of you are giving me the right answers. I will not take much of your time as sir is giving me up to 7:30. Yes, now we have seen the different legal practices like trademarks, copyrights, patents, geographical indicators. Can you tell me what the first picture is an example for? Is it a trademark? What is the first picture actually? Is it a trademark, or is it a copyright, or is it a geographical indicator, or is it a patent? Yes, somebody has given me the answer. Mona Lisa and copyright. Very good answer. Copyright. Yes, I get answers. Good. What about the second one? What's the very good? I've got the answer from Vishnu McDonald's. Yes. Is it a copyright or a patent? Yes, Satish Kumar has given me the answer as trademark. So after, you have to have a clarity of what a trademark is, what is a patent, what is a geographical indicator. Of course, the third one. Third one, everybody knows it is a mobile phone. And there are a lot of design specifications, numbers. Which one does this come under? Design. Yes, it is actually patent. 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 Fine. So patent is where you get approval for the I mean for the different design you have done. Okay. Then the next one, the fourth figure at the bottom, you've got a lady smelling the tea leaves. Yes, answer for the fourth one. Let me see how many of you are giving it. I got the answer for the first three. Mona Lisa for McDonald, for the mobile phone. Come on, give me the answers for that lady who's smelling that tea leaves. You can also unmute and answer. Nothing wrong. No guesses. Again, I'll come back to the slide which I've told you. Yes. Somebody has given some answer. No, it's not logo. Come on, tell me whether it is a patent, trademark, copyright, geographical indicator, industrial design. You can go with the guesses. Let me see whether it's right. Trademark. No, sir. No. It, yes, Satish Kumar. So let us all give a clap to Satish Kumar. Satish Kumar can unmute and speak. Are you a student or sir?
A student, ma'am.
Student. You're from which year, pa?
Final year.
Final year department?
Electrical. Triple E.
Electrical. Okay, Satish, fine. Very good. So it is actually a job. How did you tell it? It is a guess, sir? Is it a guess or Satish?
Already subject one படிச்சிரோம். Studied
Okay.
one subject.
Okay, that is actually Assam tea. It is actually Assam tea. It was introduced Darjeeling tea. Okay, in the year 2003 only. Initially, they got an approval for the geographical indicators. That is actually the logo for that. Very good, Satish. And one more person also has answered geographical indicator. Milani Barrett. Good, both of you. What about the last one? All of you will tell it. Nike. Yeah, it's logo fine. Whether it is a trademark or copyright or patent. Okay, fine. It is trademark. Good. I'm getting answers regularly from people. So that this is how you people should know what is the difference between a copyright, how to get a trademark, and whether there are geographical indicators, and how to have my own design and innovation being patented. So these are all the very basics which you should know when you're going to have your own startup, the licensing, the legal steps which you should follow. And of course, market research. How are you going to research? How are you going to market your products? Is that be clear with your objective. So once I told you that you're going to have your own startup, and we have seen the different types of startups, whether you're going to have your social startup doing benefit to the society, a non-profitable one, or you're going to have your large startup, or only you're going to feed or meet your own needs alone, having a small business startups, anything. Be very clear with what you're going to do. Okay, define what your objective is, and then start working on your research design. So your research design, what I'm meaning is actually the prototype which you people have to build. Okay. The small prototype, give it to around 10 to 15 people around you, check what are all the pros and cons, and then once it's been done, start iterating on the prototype, work on it again and again, and then distribute the prototype to more than 1,000 people. And then third step, again, preparing and working on your research instrument. Collect data. As I told you, collect the information from large number of people. You just get the feedback and suggestions, whether you are having a proper follow up. You analyze the data. All these actually, I told you in the beginning of the presentation itself, creativity, wherein you have to focus on preparation of whatever you're going to do, collect and analyze the data, collecting the data, getting a spark, working on it, evaluating what are all the pros and cons of it, and then implementing. So implementing is where you're going to communicate your findings. So these are all my findings. This is how I'm going to market my product. So all this has to be done. A thorough market research of whatever you're going to be, whatever you're going to do also has to be done. And then implementation is where you're going to and harnessing of innovations. If you've got good innovations with you, come out of the innovation, start working on that innovation. So for that only, Nidhi is actually a scheme given by DST, by the government of India. And what is Nidhi Prayas is, you have got a good idea but you doesn't know how to convert it into prototype. Nidhi Prayas will do it. So how can you convert your idea into prototypes? Okay. And you can become a very high end entrepreneur, and you can also be self employed. So all that facilities are available through this Nidhi Prayas. And then if you see a nice program, it is again, it is an incubation and fellowship program which is being given by IIT. You need to start working and researching. Once you think that I am going to have my own startup, I am not going to depend on anybody, I want to become self employed, and I'm going to be the employer giving employment to few other people. That is how, as youngsters nowadays, you need to research, focus on whatever fields you are studying. Then, of course, Bell program, it is actually building entrepreneur leaders. future you want to become a very successful leader in the field of entrepreneurship. So again, you have got bell programs wherein lot of internship programs are being regularly done. So you just search over and go and check whether, see, again, if you see IDEX, it is again an innovation where people are working for the defense and aerospace. For every area of specialization, you see there are a lot number of programs and lot number of schemes, startup initiatives, which I have not given the initiatives here, but there are a lot number of initiatives which is being provided by the government of India. If you see in the National Innovation Startup Policy, new educational policy, you can see students are also being given a break of around 6 months to 1 year, so that they can go work for their startup business and again come and continue their studies. So all these opportunities are being given only in the current educational policy, and that which was not available for the previous set of students. So this again, you have to give a big hats off to the Ministry of Education and Innovation, who is working continuously on innovation and startups. So just go on and search and see on the Nidhi schemes. And again, I wanted to insist, which stage is your startup, or whether this startup I'm going to start or not, whether this program is right for me, or am I in this state so that I can proceed, or which domain should I have my startup. So that is all is very essential, wherein you need to first focus, categorize, and then have a co-founder, one who is a trusted person, and then start doing on certain things so that you can have a successful you so that you can become a successful entrepreneur. So as I told you, the legal steps, there are also few ethical steps which are need to be followed, wherein you need to formalize your business structure. So here is where you have to know whether it is a private company or a public company or a public partnership or an LLP company or a sole proprietorship. You alone are going to manage your entire business. So that is how you need to formalize your entire business structure. And then, as I told you, apply for the license. You will have a registrar. Initially, you will have a shop and establishment act. Apart from that, for industries to industries, the licenses will get varied. Then you have to understand what are all the different taxation and accounting laws. Startup India initiative, if you see, there are a lot of accounting laws. You have to know what are all the laws, and of course adhering to labor laws, that is very important. Be it if you work in any concern, a private concern or a public concern, anywhere, if you see, adhering to labor laws is very essential. The minimum wages which you give them, the PF, the funding, the weekly holidays which you give, the gratuity period, all that are certain steps which you need to follow when you have your own startup and when you're going to give employment to few other people in your concern. And then ensuring the protection of intellectual property, as I told you, this all your patent right, your copyrights, your trademarks, your industrial design, your geographical indicators, so all that will be covered in this step of ensuring the protection of intellectual property. And then effective contract management is actually, you've got an act, Indian Contract Act of 1872, wherein all agreements and contracts has to be initially done, so that you should have a proper respect with the venture which you're going to start, and you will have certain NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, which you people have to complete, because these are all certain technical terms which I'm going on, which most of the students will not be familiar. So all these has to be done. At the same time, if you think that this won't be right for me, so I need to wind up the business, there are again, when you want to wind up the business, there are again steps, like you can either fast track, quickly exit and go, or otherwise you go through legal court and tribunal routes, or otherwise you voluntarily close it due to certain laws in it. So when you have a proper procedure of formalizing a business structure and you have got a founders agreement, there is also a proper procedure of how you need to wind up the business too. Okay, so that is how any business startup has to be started with an agreement, and then proper winding also, it has to follow certain steps. And of course, be ethical in whatever you do, and be legal in whatever you're doing if you're going to have your own startup. So that's it. I have completed the presentation, And if you've got any queries, you people can put forward, or otherwise I will go with the end of the session. Any questions, you can feel free to answer. I mean, or otherwise you can also post it in the chat box. I'll send my mail ID to sir. So if students have got any clarifications, they can ask me. Okay. I think it's almost 7:40, sir. Sorry, I'm taking. Yes, yes, sir. Thank you. So I just wanted to end with these quotes for the students and for the other people who are there in the webinar. So if you want to have your own startup, don't think that you have to do big, big, great things and have your big startup. A small thing is sufficient, and even if the small thing is done in a big, great way. So we all love biryani. I mean, there are a lot of biryani lovers who posted that I love biryani. You go for an RR biryani or you go for talapakati, they have all have their own trademark. That is only because of the small minute recipe content which they are not disclosing to everybody, right? So it is not a big thing. The taste matters there. So that is what, again, when it comes to innovation, creativity, or startup, again, what matters is, even if it is a small thing, do it in a great way. And of course, at the same time, all of you should have the social responsibility that it doesn't harm or affect other people. And at the same time, one more thing which I wanted to tell everybody: push yourself every day. Think that these are the targets which I have to achieve, because no one else will be coming and pushing you every day. Every day in the morning you get up, you think that this day is going to be a beautiful day for me. Things are going to turn positive for me. This is how I'm going to work. So that is how you people have to continuously trigger yourself, motivate yourself, either being a student, or either you're working in a field, or either you're being an industry expert, or whatsoever it is. Always be positive minded, be open minded, help the people in and around you to have a successful life. Thank you so much. I once again want to thank the coordinators of this webinar, Ayapin sir, and other coordinators, and all the management of St. Teresa Institution. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. And of course, I need the feedback too, sir, at the end. Ye- yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. If there are no questions, you can proceed, sir.